Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing my what sold video for last weekend, which was January 13th through the 15th, Friday through Sunday. Y'all, I'm still fighting this. I don't know. Anybody else? This just keep going and going and going. It eventually will go away, right? Eventually. I wanted to thank two viewers who sent me Buy Me a Coffees. I want to thank Robin and Janice for the Buy Me a Coffees. Anytime you guys do anything that supports my channel, I so appreciate it. You know, also, clicking on the links that I have, especially into some of the shopping platforms. Anytime you are in there, even if you're not buying stuff that I have posted in the affiliate links, I still get a small commission from them for like the next 24 hours. So I so appreciate that. The Haulsale, WorthPoint. I don't know if we have that yet. I can't remember if Robert's applied for that or not, which I love WorthPoint. American Bubble Boy. I appreciate anytime people click on these links for me, and then, it just helps support. I talk about that all the time. Everything adds up. So thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys give us. In spite of me being sick and listing when I feel better and trying to do some work, my sales have been pretty okay. I talk about in the one video that I have a set amount that I want to make each week, and it goes up and down, but for the most part I'm staying consistent on where I want to be. But I have so much to list. I really wanted to spend this time, while yard sale season is off, to get a whole bunch of stuff listed, but I guess there were other plans for me. It's been pretty much a whole lot of resting and some cross listing when I feel up to it, but this has been terrible. All right, so let me go ahead and get to the screen. My biggest sale was not on eBay. All right, we'll start. I did have sales on all 4 of my platforms, Mercari, Etsy, eBay, and Poshmark. Before we even get started on that, though, I had a comment on one of my oldest videos. I think it was my first video where I had been talking about my Facebook sales being so great, and then somebody made a comment, nobody's sales are great on Facebook anymore, and I agree. So I don't even have a single listing on there anymore. I do not think it was worth any more effort, because until they can figure out what's wrong, I'm not going to list on there anymore. It's just, you go in there and you do a search and you get everything. But also, anybody else noticed on eBay this week when I went to do my brand video, which was the Valentine's one, when I went into a store to check their feedback, many of them I could not find the search bar, which really makes it difficult to find out if something's listed in their store if they have several hundred items. So anybody else noticing just some oddball things happening? Like this morning I went to check feedback on somebody, and it's a totally different screen. Just eBay's making lots of changes right now again, which I'm glad they waited till first quarter to do these changes. But I'm wondering, I'm wondering if I need to send messages, because I'm seeing lots of issues. Anybody else not able to get their custom SKU on unsold items? When I sell something on another platform, I end it on eBay because everything is on eBay. But now when you go into your unsolds, which is where I would need to go to pull these items to ship on the other platforms, that custom SKU is gone. I may go ahead and compile a list of things that I'm noticing, but who do you send it to? But yeah, the custom SKU one is annoying. What I've been doing for anybody else facing that is I take a picture of my unsolds on the desktop, which still tells me the custom SKU, and then I go over and I have to try to remember to open up that on my camera and, you know, pull those items to ship to the other platforms. All right. We'll start off with Mercari. I had two sales on there to share. This is a Build-A-Bear plush curly fur. That's the only way I could use words I could use to differentiate it from other Build-A-Bears bears. It sold for $11. Best offer on, or you know, I got an offer on Mercari. And then this, I bought this like karaoke microphone thing. It sat here forever in a bag. And finally I got it out, tried to test it. It did not work, but this cartridge was in there with it. So it was the saving grace. You know, I made a little money. I sold this karaoke cartridge for $5 on Mercari. All right, Etsy, I had a single sale that weekend. This is an Eden lamb plush. It's a wind-up vintage, kind of in an, that wind-up is in an odd place. But it played Mary Had a Little Lamb. It sold for $44.95. And then eBay. Kind of all over the place. Quite a few clothing items, which, you know, I've not been listing clothes, and I need to get to it because Robert's way ahead of me. He has been very good about starting to process a bunch of the clothes. But this first one on eBay was a Wallflower women's jeans. Sold for $16.82. Again, if you're new to my channel, I do not do free shipping, so the buyer also paid additional. For clothing, I usually do flat rate shipping, and then I ship it priority padded flat rate. Tweety Bird, this one was from 1996. Ace novelty, has this little suction cup on the back, so I guess you could have hung it from the your windshield or something in your car. It sold for $8.96. Spark Create Imagine, love that brand. It's Walmart. This is a pink unicorn. I think I made a comment recently that I don't sell a whole lot of unicorns, but you know, they do sell. It just takes a while. This one sold for $9.86. Fisher-Price Loving Family Dollhouse. This was just kind of a hodgepodge set of leftovers. I tend to buy like a dollhouse with accessories, or when I'm at the bins, I'll grab all the dollhouse stuff that I can find. So this was just a little bit of everything. Sold for $13.45. Now, I did have a question in one of my recent videos about how do you tell if it's Loving Family. Most of the pieces are marked Mattel. Mattel and Fisher-Price, same. But they're marked Mattel. If it's like from the 1990s, then that is Loving Family Dream Dollhouse. If it's like over that, and they're usually a specific color shade. You know, there's these blues and pinks, and they're not as colorful as the newer Loving Family. But yeah, anything that's above like in the 2000s and up is usually Loving Family. But most of the parts are marked with Mattel and a date. They don't say Loving Family or anything like that. Google Lens is really good about identifying individual pieces. Usually, sometimes it's hit and miss. A lot of the figures I list individually because it may be just somebody's wanting one individual piece to finish out a set that they have. But a lot of times I try to put like bathroom stuff together, kitchen stuff together. So if you come across a bunch of Loving Family, definitely check the comps. Some of pieces are worth listing separately, but for the most part, I try to do like $15, $20 lots. Make it affordable. Toys R Us plush. This one's from 2010. I do really well with sheeps and lambs. And they're very cute. This one sold for $10.75. This is a viewer sale. Sherry did quite a bit of shopping with me that week. This is a For Real Friends Roarin' My Bouncin' Lion. I like For Real Friends. Sometimes they do take a while to sell. But if you find the accessories, then those do quite well. They sell very quickly because kids are forever losing the bottles and some of the other type accessories that go with them. So thanks, Sherry, for purchasing this. She did pay $16.16. This was I think I picked this up when I went to the Nashville bins. It's a Hasbro Incredible Hulk figure. His arms and body were rubbery feeling, but he did make sounds also. I thought he was going to sell for a whole lot more, but nope. This one sold for $8.96. This is, I'm thinking it's pronounced Araya, which is my granddaughter's name, but she doesn't spell it this way. It's a dress, shirt, sweater thing. You can tell I'm not very good at describing some of this stuff as far as the clothing. It sold for $15, best offer. American Greetings Care Bears Cousin Elephant from 1985. A lot of the older Care Bear figures had the little wisp of hair on them. The newer ones don't have the wisp of hair. This one sold for $12.78. Fisher-Price Little People Chunky Yellow Farm Trailer from 1995. Sold for $8.96. A lot of the Fisher-Price that was released in the 90s is the chunky style, which is the little short, fat people. And then starting in 2000, well, there's some that are like 99, 98. They went into the, let me show you guys. I have them up here. That's a chunky. And then these were a little bit past the 2000s. The oldest ones of these usually didn't have anything in their hands. Angels women's jeans sold for best offer of $20. This was, I'm not remembering where I picked this up, maybe at an estate sale. This is a Disney Jungle Book book and cassette set that was still sealed. It sold for $13.45. Christmas ornament from the White House. This one was dated 2002. It sold for $11. I picked this up at a recent estate sale. I think it's the one where we bought all of the train stuff and a lot of the vintage Christmas. This is an address book, just kind of had that hippie vibes about it. It sold for $11. I think when I initially was looking through it, I was like, oh, no writing in it, but almost every page, come to find out, the top line was like one person with their name. So sometimes you just don't notice it when you're flipping through stuff. But I made sure to make a note of that. Some more of the train, HO scale train stuff that we picked up at that sale. These are just more of the teeny tiny 1-inch figures. This one was the station service crew and the passenger people. They sold for $15. Baby Gap. I love finding plush that are Old Navy and Baby Gap. They tend to do very well for me because, you know, it was released probably for a season in one of these stores and then they're no more. This is the larger 14-inch stuffed bear. There is a smaller versions and some of them have different clothes and outfits and stuff on. It sold for $13.45. Chico's. I like finding Chico's. We can usually get them for, you know, $1 or so. And they sell very quickly for us. These corduroy pants sold for $12.55. Minifigures, still selling them. This is Pirates of the Caribbean and the Gunner Zombie. Again, I had to use Google Lens because I didn't know that zombie right there was from Pirates of the Caribbean. It sold for $14.95. This has been listed a long time. I don't even remember when. Maybe I got it at an estate seller, the Goodwill bins. But I finally got an offer on it, which I accepted, $20 for a vintage Christmas plastic cutting board by Fleet. Animal Adventure White Dog Plush. Had the blue little snowflake, all the keywords that you can use to help somebody find your item. I'm not sure why I don't have a date on there, because usually I put the dates for all Animal Adventure. It sold for $11.66. Mary Meyer, I love that brand. A lot of it is vintage. This is, again, another sheep, sold 7.5 inches tall, sold for $15.25. Aurora Tokidoki Valentino Unicorn Plush. Again, probably could have had Valentine's in there. Sold for $9.86. This is 3/4 inch, not even an inch. Minnie Pilchard the Cat from Bob the Builder, 2001. Sold for $13.45. I tend to do very well with any of the figures from Bob the Builder. That Scarecrow, Bob, Wendy, and then some of the vehicles. Kohl's Clifford the Big Red Dog from 2003. This was another prime opportunity. I got a lowball offer, lowball. I have it listed for 15. Somebody offered me 10. I always take that opportunity to go back into listings and solds to see, where it's trending at now. And you know what? $10 seemed reasonable, so I went ahead and accepted it. Acme men's boots. Robert's picked these up somewhere, probably at an estate sale. 9.5D brown. Very nice condition. Definitely looked vintage. Got a best offer of $30, which we accepted. Advertising coffee mugs. There was none like this one. There were other vintage ones, but very few that were Kodak and Eastman Chemical. We live near Eastman Chemical, so I tend to see a lot of advertising stuff for them, but I could tell this was vintage, and it did say Japan on the cup. Got a best offer of $35. I just kind of listed it high and wait for, offers. That's what's going to tell you the value of it. Went ahead and accepted it. Fisher Price Puffalumps. If you find plush that's not Fisher Price, please don't use Puffalump. It is not the right term. It is only supposed to be for Fisher Price Puffalumps. You can use nylon, parachute material, anything like that, but I see so much of that. And one of these days, people are going to get Veros for them, if they're not already. This, I'm trying to think where I picked it up at. I think I picked this up at an estate sale recently, but it could have come out of a bins bag because I've been going through them too. This was the rabbit that's green and white, sold for best offer of $40. It did have condition issues. I did wash it, but it still just seemed to have a little stain on its belly. And then there was no tag. Orvis men's pullover sweater. Anytime you find Orvis anything, definitely check the comps. I'm sure we only paid a couple dollars for this. Sold for $41.11. All right, so obviously since you haven't seen Posh is where my biggest sale was this past weekend. I did have 3 things to share with you. Jeans. All of our clothes are cross-listed to Poshmark. I haven't considered putting them on Mercari yet. At this point, I'm focusing clothes in Poshmark. These Westport jeans sold for $16. And then this Summit Collections, I like that brand. Platypus Plush. Anytime you see platypus, I don't know how you say it anytime you find a platypus plush, definitely pick it up. Pick it up. I tend to do very well with them. This one was from 1987, 15-inch. It sold on Poshmark for $36. And then the big sale was this. I think I paid $5 for this at a yard sale that we picked up a whole bunch of vintage stuff at. It was a Hasbro Star Wars Saga Edition. Tiger Games is the manufacturer also, from 2005. Sold on Poshmark for $60. Now, I did put in there that it was still sealed, but the box had lots of condition issues, lots of wear, some damage. You can see it up there in the top. So I don't list these things as new. I'm going to try to get some more videos out than I have for the last month, because this has been not fun. This is called not having fun. All right. Bye.